What's good, everybody? I'm Johnny Danger.
I'm Jesse Wheeler.
And we are the Dangerous Dudes.
So I made it to the gym last night.
Congrats.
First time in a while. Obviously, during tax season, especially at the end, it's very difficult for me to get to the gym. But I was proud of myself because it's hard.
Did you just go there and then turn around and go home?
Yeah, I parked in the parking lot, walked in the front door, scanned my thing, and then it was like, I stopped at the snack machine and got a Snickers on the way out.
Okay.
No, anyways, I actually went, worked out. Jennifer came with me, which was her first time since she broke her ankle. So it was great for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I was very proud of myself, but it's tough, it's tough to find the time. It's tough to find the motivation. And it got me thinking about, actors. Oftentimes an actor has to get in like super ripped shape for a role. But once in a while, an actor hits the jackpot and has to like put on a bunch of weight for a role. And it just got me thinking, like, if I had to do that, how I would go about it. Now, I get a lot of times they work with a trainer who has them eating, like the Michael Phelps diet of like 6,000 calories of spaghetti a day.
To get fat?
Right.
To gain weight?
Michael Phelps during his Olympic training had to eat that way just to maintain weight because he was swimming. Like
that was the fuel he had to put in his tank.
50 billion miles a day.
Yep. You think that they have trainers also to gain the weight versus trainers to get shredded?
That'd be an interesting conversation. There's Christian Bale was one story I read. He put on like 50 pounds quick.
For Vice. Yeah. For that movie Vice. If you haven't seen the movie Vice, he plays Dick Cheney. And the role and the performance that he gives is unbelievable. And he looks exactly like Dick Cheney. It's crazy.
That's not the look most people are going for. But
no.
Anyways.
Give me the Dick Cheney.
Yeah. I'm here for Dick Cheney. So if I had to do it, obviously, I mean, for me, it would be, pizza and beer.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy way, like donuts in the morning.
Imperial IPAs, 9.9s.
I like donuts.
Carbo load right before bed.
Yeah, like a dozen donuts right before bed.
That's how you do it.
Ridiculous things like that. It would be fun. Obviously, it's not healthy. But if you had an excuse to do it, because those actors also drop it right after because that's what they do for a living. And they have the time and money to do it. But it would be kind of a fun thing to like have a reason to do it and the time to, get rid of it when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of expanding on that, it got me thinking about, the junk food that I love. We often joke like, why is broccoli good for you? Now, don't get me wrong. I do love broccoli. I love a good steamed broccoli. I love asparagus. But like, why is broccoli good for you, but pizza and beer are not? Like, if you were the inventor, like the person behind inventing food, don't you think that you would have been like, I'm going to make the pizza and the donuts really good for you? Because then we would have all these super healthy people.
Depending on your belief system, though, and not to get deep into the weeds here, but you always joke like it's proof that God hates us that broccoli is good for you, but pizza's bad.
Right.
Like, why couldn't you just made the switch? Right.
That's just a joke. By the way.
Just a joke. Don't take it too seriously.
Get your panties in a bunch.
Right. Calm down.
Yeah. So I, kind of expanding on that whole point or concept, if you were on death row and you knew you were on your last meal, it was your final meal you were ever going to consume in this form. For some reason, I think about that a lot. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, maybe you're tempting fate.
Perhaps. But what would your meal be?
Well, if any of the viewing audience follows me on Facebook and YouTube, they know that I love to cook. I have a channel called Johnny Danger Cooks. I'm a bit of a foodie. I'm a bit of a wine snob.
Like, share, and subscribe.
And you'd think that maybe I'd do something exotic or like a tuna tartare or like a ribeye steak and risotto and something amazing like that. and it would be great, but if I'm being honest, if I had my last meal on earth, it would be my mom's spaghetti with sauce and salad. She just makes this amazing sauce, and like she just knows how to make like a good salad, like drenched with dressing. And it's mom's, nothing like it. So that would be the last meal I would ever want to taste. Maybe not like my favorite, maybe not, but in terms of like high end or whatever, but like something that my soul would need before I left this earth.
That's way better than mine.
Yeah.
Drink? What would the drink be?
An old fashioned.
Oh, nice.
Like a good old fashioned. Yeah, and it was death row, like, put it right to the top. Don't go two fingers on me. Just put that baby right to the top.
Yeah, Pappy.
Yeah, with Pappy.
Make it with the Pappy.
Mm-hmm.
So mine starts with shrimp cocktail, big shrimp, spicy cocktail sauce, lots of horseradish. It's just something I've always loved. A lot of this final meal is nostalgic for me as well. A lot of these things are stuff that my dad loved.
Yeah.
Big fan of shrimp cocktail. I love shrimp cocktail. It's like a simple appetizer, but it's just always like Remlick's in Binghamton has these shrimp that are like the size of my fist.
Yeah.
And they're the best. Then I just have something simple for dinner. It'd be a pizza. Like I love pizza. It's my favorite thing. I'd probably pick from either like Nick's or Bud's, my two favorite pizzas locally.
Nick's in Endicott and Bud's in Appalachian.
Appalachian/Owego.
Right on.
In that range.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Keep it local.
Excellent pizza places. Mm-hmm. Just a plain cheese pie. The drink would be, I was thinking old fashioned would be my liquor drink of choice. I love a good beer, but my drink would be a bottle of Mountain Dew, glass bottle.
Get out of here.
It would be, because I have this amazing story about that real quick. When I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to have soda. My mom didn't let us have sugar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was before my brother was born, so I don't remember. I only remember the story from my dad telling it. We were driving. Me and my parents were driving to Florida from New York. My grandparents lived there. And we had a car. It's like one of my dad's classic cars, beaters back then. It didn't have air conditioning.
Took as much oil as it did gasoline.
Yeah, exactly. Probably had to stop like every hour to like refresh the oil and,
check
cool
the coolant.
Down the engine.
Yeah.
But there was no air conditioning. So we were like into the South and we're all dying of heat. And my dad talks my mom into letting me have a soda, and it's a bottle of Mountain Dew, and he gets it and shares it with me. And I like chugged it. And he used to describe it. My eyes were like popping out of my head because it was like, this is like life changing.
You were 2?
Under 2, because I was 2 when my brother was born and he wasn't there yet. So obviously I don't remember that story. I only know it from my dad telling me it. And I like to think that influenced my liking for Mountain Dew, which now Caleb is a Mountain, and my nephew Addison, they're both Mountain Dew junkies. It runs in the Wheeler blood. But anyways, that would be part of the meal. And I probably have to throw in an old fashioned as well, because it's like you can't like leave the earth without a good one of those.
Tell me, refresh my memory, what alcoholic beverage was Mountain Dew meant to be mixed with?
Or whiskey. It was made as a whiskey mixer.
Okay, so
whiskey mixer.
Right. Okay.
Say that 10 times fast.
Whiskey mixer.
And it ends with creme brulee, the best dessert. Simple dessert. I love that dessert, and that's it for me. And then I'm ready to go. Ready for what's next.
ready to push the button.
Guillotine.
Whatever you got. Oh, you want to go by guillotine?
Firing squad, maybe.
Just want to be punched to death.
Right.
I really want to feel this one.
Right. Mike Tyson. Bring in Mike Tyson.
Oh, God.
So, kind of full circle from that, obviously, like that's somewhat of a morbid take on, food. But we were also talking recently about COVID.
Yeah.
And how we both went through some, body transformations.
Big time.
For me, we were shut down. I hadn't seen you in a while. I hadn't seen anybody in a while.
Well, it was March to May.
Yeah. we didn't have band practice. That's the longest we've gone without having band practice.
That's the longest we've gone since we've met without seeing each other.
Right.
It was a weird time. It was odd, but it was a mandatory 90-day shutdown. Like, just stay home, don't do nothing, don't leave. You know, just stay local. And
we were doing those live streams. Which was fun. All I did was practice guitar and work during that time.
Yeah, I learned a lot of songs.
Yeah, me too.
Learned a lot about myself. But yeah, that was an interesting time. And like I remember, you know, I think it was May. It was right around this time, right? Like mid-May, May 15th.
We were able to. Things reopened. We could have practice again. You came over. We hadn't seen each other.
But it was the day. It was May 15th, I believe, was a Friday or like somewhere around end of the week, and we got together that day.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a health diagnosis that my doctor had recommended that I drop some weight. He actually said to drop like
15 pounds,
15 or 20 pounds, something like that.
He said to do it now,
and I did it like that because, you know, once it became like, you know, you've got this, you know, health issue, you need to lose weight. It was something like, all right, I can do that. Like, especially we were shut down. So, and in full disclosure, I did, I used like the Weight Watchers app to like count calories and like kind of analyze what I was eating. And it was good, you know, for me, like, you know, if it's a challenge, somebody is like presents a challenge.
That's something you and I have. That's something you and I have in common. Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, cut back alcohol consumption big time, but cut back calorie consumption big time, and it worked.
So I show up having not seen you in 90 days, and you know, I venture to guess that you were probably at your highest around where I was, right? Like. Mm-hmm. Full disclosure, you're about 6'2", 6'2.5", and I would venture to guess you were hovering somewhere in the two teens,
215,
maybe pushing towards 220. But you had dropped 18 pounds, and I saw it. And at the time, I was at the heaviest I'd ever been, and I was probably hovering around the same weight, but I'm about 3 inches less. I'm about 5'11", and I was like, well, I could do that. So I bought a home gym. I enhanced my home gym. I already had some like free weights, and I had like, resistance bands and shit like that. But I got a total gym. I got a heavy bag. I got a treadmill. So I had everything that I needed, right? Like cardio, heavy weights, plyometrics, the whole thing. I got like the rubber mats in my basement. I was like, here we go. And it wasn't just the working out, it was the diet. And I have a spinal cord injury. I went through a tremendous amount of rehab, and I worked with a physiatrist. I knew, what it took to get myself back in shape. But, around that time, it just felt like, well, what's the point? And nobody really knew what was going to happen, or it was weird.
Yeah, it was a strange time.
It was a strange time, but all you had was time. And if you really wanted to focus on something like learning songs, or like, a lot of people just started doing passion projects and working on things and working on themselves. And I just decided, well, my best buddy's working himself into shape. I'm going to work myself into shape. Once I went from I was 215 at my highest, and I dropped down to, as soon as that scale read 189, once I got into the 180s, I was like, oh, here we go. And I kicked it into overdrive. And my secret weapon was I am an intermittent faster, right? I only eat in a 6-hour window to this day. I eat my first meal around noon. I have my last meal around 6. I don't have anything to eat until the next day at noon again. So I have a 6-hour window. That's my go-to. And lately, life being seemingly busier and busier than it's ever been, especially since the holidays, I just can't find that rhythm to get back into working out on a daily basis. I mean, I was 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week for years, minimum 5 days a week. I had to work out. Now it's I literally don't know I know there's an excuse. There is an hour in your day to do it, but I
It's
just
so tough
can't
though. Like
find it.
I know for me, like I'm 50 now, so like getting up in the morning at this point, you're always slower, sore, not super sore, but it's just like you put in a full day's work, especially on a Monday. Like we had an awesome weekend where we golfed Friday. We went on a road trip with the boys, played a Danger Dog show in Fredonia,
It was
came
awesome.
home. I mean, so it was an awesome
But
weekend.
were you wiped by Sunday
Of course
night?
I was. I was so freaking exhausted.
I was a
Sunday
pile
night.
of garbage.
And you know, Monday morning comes and it's like, you know,
Like,
Monday
really?
morning going to work is nobody looks forward to that.
Right.
Put it that way. Nobody gets excited. Oh, it's Monday. I can't wait to get to work. So like you get up and at this age, it's, you know, everything's a little slower. So like finding the motivation to go to the gym that evening it's not easy. But I did it, and like, it's almost like like you said, getting there is really half the battle.
That's
like
the
you
win.
walk in the door, and it's almost like the win. Like and getting in a decent workout was like bonus, and you know it was. The thing with that is like you just don't want to like after work. It's like I know I need to do this, but I don't want to. I can find a million other things that I would rather do. But then when you're done with
It
it,
feels so
it's the
good.
greatest. I was all sweaty. I came home and made myself some dinner, watched the Knicks kick the Celtics ass.
Yeah, you did.
And it was a great night. I was really happy about it. And I need to find another evening to squeeze another time in, and then build from there. It's all about momentum.
Well, the key is, I think, if you can stack those, so you don't want to have like a great workout on Monday and then your next workout is like the next week.
Monday?
Yeah, the next following. Like you really need to stack those wins. So I would say at least you probably get your ass to the gym tomorrow.
Or Thursday.
Right, but like
we have band practice.
My thing is, priorities.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you can get 3 days a week, you're doing something.
Well, absolutely.
And I know people would say, "Oh, as long as you're doing something," but it's really training your brain and your body for repetition for good things, because it's easy to train your body and your brain for bad things. Yeah. It's wicked easy. All you got to do is nothing.
Right. I'm hoping we can work on like making the day 26 hours instead of 24. Like
I could really use an extra 2 hours. Yeah.
Can you imagine what difference that would make if you had just 2 more hours in the day? It would be life changing.
Well, you got a lot of executive orders flying around. Maybe that could be one of them.
That should be the next one. Right?
I think that's pretty bipartisan, don't you?
I don't think there's anybody who would disagree.
Extra 2 hours added to the day. Make it happen.
Even if you just sleep 2 more hours, sleep is the best thing. Sleep is the healthiest thing that any of us can do.
I suck at it, but
I wish I was better. I'm considering where I've been at it in certain points in my life. I'm thankful that I can get 6 or 7 hours of sleep a night at this point. But it would be wonderful to have 2 more hours in a day so I could get 8 or 9.
I can't remember the last time I woke up in the morning and got up out of bed without saying a swear word. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Maybe tell your friends, and we'll see you guys next week.
Be good.
Cheers.
Cheers.